Hey everybody, how are you today? I just wanted to pop on real quick. I just had this awesome memory. I was listening to some music. So when I was 12, I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina. And there was this really cool, actually I was 13, really cool group of older kids. Any of us who are Gen X know that, we hung out with the older crowd, the younger crowd. We blended with all of them. There was no issue with who we were blending with. We really kind of got along with everybody because we kind of sort of had to. But anyway, I had this really cool memory, and I'm just sending a shout out to my older Gen X. And some of these people might have fallen in as very late boomers, because when I was 12, 13, when we moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, I had no friends. And the people that befriended me were these couple of kids that lived 3 buildings down. Well, they were in their senior year in high school, junior year in high school, and that kind of shows that, they were my friends. Those are the people who introduced me to the Eagles, Zeppelin, Rush, Kiss, all of these groups. That older generation, that Detroit Rock City generation, they were born in 62 to 65. Yeah. Because I graduated in 88. So I was 17 when I graduated, so I was doing the math backwards. Yeah, so they were still Gen X and maybe last year boomers. But I just wanted to send a shout out to you guys, because I can do math. Okay, I really can. I'm doing it in my head, and I've got a lot on my mind and a lot going on around me. You hear my dogs? But but anyway, I just had to send a shout out to say thank you, because those kids really brought me to life, man. They introduced the music. They introduced so much to me. It was phenomenal. Yeah. But I know some would say, oh my God, you were so young. What were you hanging out with kids that age for? Because anybody that's truly Gen X, we grouped with all kinds of groups. We had our core group, and then we had all these other little groups. But me personally, I was never attached to any one particular group. I was one of those, I morphed, Okay, I'm going to hang out with these people, hang out with these people, hang out with these people. And I'm going to bring these people over to these people. So that's kind of what I did. But anyway, shout out to you guys, you're older Gen X. Granted, I was born in 70, so I am considered kind of an older Gen X. Actually, I'm in the middle of the line. I don't know. I don't care, really. I just know I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of friends, and had a lot of really cool people. And I was just thinking, man, no wonder we're the way we are, because the older part of our generation, we were all raised pretty much, well, I was, by more of the parents who were trying to break out of all the BS anyway, so no wonder I live with tie-dye drapes in a renovated camper off the grid. Oh gosh, I'm having a thinking moment. Wow. I didn't stray very far, guys. Isn't that funny? Anyway, I just thought I'd come on and babble, because I see so many Gen X people, and I'm loving it, because, gosh, my page is really increased ever since I started popping on and talking to people, which I don't know what to do with the page increasing, to be quite honest. I do lives, and I don't even know really what I'm doing. So I could really use some help. But, yeah, any of my Gen X buddies or my older Gen X that, helped me out when I was a kid, can you help me out now? Because I kind of don't know what I'm doing with this TikTok thing. But, guys, you rock. You rock. You do. Every ounce of it. And we have all been through total hell. I don't know, many of you know my story, but God, I was just talking to my dad last night for the first time in I haven't spoken really to my dad except for one time in the last 15 years. Maybe twice, 3 times. 3 times in 15 years probably. But last night I was talking to my dad, and I said, Dad, I said, I was kind of a rough kid, dude. Yeah, I was a rough kid, man. I never got into big trouble, but I did get into a lot of mischief, because, I'm an 80s kid, and that's kind of what we did. But, told my dad, I said, Dad, I really do love you. You sure tried. He says, yeah. He says, well, I'm just glad to know that you actually do love me. He says, because all those years he didn't think I liked him very much. But, we went through a lot of crap, man. As I'm sitting here picking up my fingernails thinking, wow, how How in the hell are even half of us here still? I have to ask that question. What happened? I tell you, what? I really think we're this generation that came in to bring in some great change because, man, we've been through it all. And we hear, it's really crazy, though, if you listen to some of our kids and the younger generation, I know I've heard, but they're going through the stuff that we went through in 30s. They're going through it in their 20s. So I kind of get where they're coming from, too, because, everything's kind of accelerated. So, my big brothers, my very late boomer friends and very early Gen X friends, they were there to help me out, especially when I was climbing out the back window and they saw me about fall out and land on my head. I don't know what we were all doing out there at midnight, but anyway. Might have had to do with some Sun Country wine coolers or Boonesberry Farms or some kind of something like that. But all sneaking out the windows at night, and they saved me. So I guess we're here to, help them out. Really, we got to help them out, guys, because we know what they're trying to get away from. Some of our parents were understanding it. Some of us really, really get it, and I'm looking at my grandbabies, and I don't want them to have to deal with all this because they're just as free as what we were. My grandchildren would rather be outside running in the yard and figuring out how to build a fort versus sitting in the house watching TV. I mean, that's the truth. So, and thank goodness I live on a farm. So, well, it's not my farm. We have a spot on this farm, and then we're looking for land up north, too. So we're kind of wanting to be bop all over the place because we really, really, really like to travel. That's what I like to do as a gypsy in a past life. Not going to go there. But yeah, I know. Past lives, we're not going to start with that because that's not what this video was about. But I'm so multifaceted. So, but I guess we're here to help out our kids and help out our kids' kids. And not to do for them because that doesn't teach them a damn thing. But to show them. And all the skills that we gained from our ancestors, we're here to share. And that kindness and love that we got, that thing that only Gen X kind of really knows about, that camaraderie, that teamwork, that, oh my gosh, it's like a brother and a sister. You can pick on my baby, I can pick on my baby brother, but you could never pick on my baby brother kind of thing. So, guys, what we got going on is freaking great. But let's not lose sight of what we're trying to do. We're trying to make a change for our children and our grandkids. Isn't that what we've always been about? Gen X is pretty much, we've all hurt so bad because the only thing that we ever wanted was family and love. And that's what we were fighting so hard for. That was coming out in our music. That's what we were, all of them, Pat Benatar, all of them, they sang about, they wanted love, 99 Fish Love Balloons. All of it was just, it was all, even our heavy metal was like a cry out and a yelling what was going on in our hearts, what we were really feeling. So some people ask about us, go listen to our music. Actually, listen to our music. Not replay our music, not copy our music. Listen to our music. And you'll hear it was just a bunch of kids trying to escape. And even some 20s and early 20s just trying to get out of what we saw was going on in the world. And some of us kind of knew what was coming down the pipeline, and voila, here we are. So, anyway, Gen X Unite, guys, and let's do this for a reason. If we're going to be doing this big change, I know we're all doing it for a reason. We're not doing it just because we can make noise on TikTok. We're doing it because we're actually wanting to make a real change in the real world for real lives. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I don't know where the hell that came from, but I guess it's just what it is, what it is. It is what it is, right? And so be it. Anyway, I love you. Namaste. Peace out.